It is.
I love it. And I got to get your prediction really quick on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight.
Boxing. I'm team boxing, man. Gervonta Davis, of course.
Gervonta Davis?
Of course.
And who would you say is the #1 pound for pound right now in boxing?
Usyk.
Great fight, great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun. It makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about. You know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless. It doesn't count.
The weeds for this? You part of this movement that's going on right now. Well, I got in the ring with you know, a top pound for pound fighter in the world. Y'all going over there contribute to help this dude.
The guy must be around 150 right now, 153, something like that. And you can really tell when he's sideways. When you look at him sideways.
Gervonta Davis is about to fight Jake Paul in the most bizarre boxing match we've ever seen. But there's someone who's not happy about it at all. Lamont Roach Jr. was supposed to get a rematch with Tank after their controversial draw. But instead, Davis chose money over settling the score. Let me break down everything happening with this crazy fight. Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis are fighting on November 14th in Miami, Florida. The whole thing is streaming live on Netflix. Now here's where it gets wild. Jake Paul weighs around 200 pounds and stands 6 feet 1 inches tall. Gervonta Davis normally fights at 135 pounds and is only 5 feet 5 inches tall. That's a 65-pound difference. Think about that for a second. That's like a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight. The fight was originally supposed to happen in Atlanta, Georgia, but the chairman of the Georgia Athletic Commission, a guy named Rick Thompson, said no way. He looked at this matchup and had serious concerns. So they moved the whole thing to Miami where they could make it happen. Because of this crazy size difference, this fight is officially an exhibition. That means it won't count on either guy's professional record. But don't let that fool you. Both fighters have made it very clear that knockouts are allowed. Jake Paul even said there's a huge bonus for whoever gets the knockout. He called it big money. Paul told reporters it's only an exhibition because he's like 70 pounds lighter, but when we're in there, it's real. The punches are real, the knockout's real. They're fighting at a catch weight of 195 pounds. That means Jake only has to lose 5 pounds from his normal weight, but Tank has to gain 60 pounds from where he usually fights. To make things safer, they're both wearing 12-ounce gloves. Those are training gloves, much bigger than what pros normally use. In regular boxing, fighters their size would wear 8 or 10-ounce gloves. The fight is scheduled for 10 rounds, 3 minutes each. Here's something really interesting. 3 judges will score the fight if it goes the distance. But one of those judges will be AI. That's right, artificial intelligence. This is the first time an AI judge's scores will actually count toward the final decision. They've been testing this idea at other boxing shows, but this is the first time it really matters. Jake Paul's record is 12 wins and 1 loss with 7 knockouts. He beat Mike Tyson last year and won against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. back in June. Gervonta Davis has never lost. His record is 30 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw. He's knocked out 28 of his opponents. Tank is the current WBA lightweight champion and one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Now let's talk about Jake Paul's honest confession. In an interview with TMZ, Paul said something that surprised a lot of people. He admitted,
actually internally, like, I'm the most scared going into a fight that I've actually ever been, because I know how good these people are that I'm sparring, and being able to see how good they are and knowing how good Tank is, it's actually going to be my toughest test to date.
That's rare. Most fighters never admit they're scared, but Jake knows exactly what he's up against. To prepare for Tank, Jake is training with world champions. Shakur Stevenson is coming to help him spar. Raymond Ford and Montana Love are also training with him. Paul explained his strategy. He said,
Not as much on power. I'm not doing as much like weightlifting and all of that stuff. I'm actually trying to like lose some muscle so that I have less weight and so that my punches are coming off faster.
He's focusing on speed instead of power because Tank is known for being incredibly fast. But Jake isn't just scared. He's also talking trash. Jake claims that Gervonta is mentally weak in the ring and starts to crumble when things don't go his way. He's planning to use mind games and his size to force Tank into making mistakes early. Jake believes Tank is underestimating him. Tank Davis seems super focused. He told reporters, "My headspace that I'm in now is way better than where I was before, and that's the only thing that matters to me." Tank isn't doing any trash talk. He's just training hard and taking this seriously. In his recent training videos, you can see he's bulked up. His upper body is bigger, his legs are stronger, but he still has that explosive movement he's famous for. He's currently around 150 to 153 pounds and still adding weight. Tank said, "All this, his size, his power, the way he moves, I just got to adapt. I think it's going to be a great event. Every time I fight, it's fireworks." The boxing world has a lot of opinions about this fight. Shakur Stevenson, who's the WBC lightweight champion, says Jake Paul has zero chance. When asked about it, he just said, "Nope, no hesitation." Stevenson thinks Tank will simply outbox Jake and make it look easy. He said, "Size will play some part, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just going to try and go out there and outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. I think Tank is going to outbox him and make it look real easy." But Stevenson also accepted Jake's invitation to come spar with him. He posted on social media saying he wants to pick Jake's business mind and help give some game. Then he teased Tank fans by writing, "They be so mad at me every day." Sean Porter, a former two-time world champion, has a different prediction. He's betting on Tank by knockout. Porter said if Tank hits him clean, he's going to sleep. He calls Tank's power deceptive. It doesn't look like much until someone ends up flat on the floor. That's exactly what happened to Ryan Garcia and Rolando Romero. Porter believes Jake is still too green defensively, and one counter left hand from Tank will end the fight. Terrence Crawford sees it differently. Crawford thinks Jake is just too big for Tank. He said that if they really go at it, Jake could land one good punch and it's over. Crawford has fought at different weight classes himself, so he knows how much even 10 pounds can make a difference. He's not doubting Tank's skill. He's just pointing out that physics matter. When a lightweight tries to brawl with a cruiserweight, punch resistance, leverage, and how much punishment each body can take all become huge factors. Tony Bellew was more direct. He said if Tank lands clean, Jake Paul's going to sleep. Bellew called Jake a marketing genius, but said he can't wrap his head around people thinking Jake can win. He knows knockout power when he sees it, and Tank has it. Bellew mentioned that Tank has fought opponents much larger than himself and walked them down because his timing and punch selection are elite. The glove situation has caused some drama. Calvin Ford, Tank's trainer, is concerned about the 12-ounce gloves. He told Ring Magazine,
"My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake.
We don't use 12-ounce gloves. We're not training, we're fighting. If they really want to fight Tank Davis, make it real with proper gloves." He wanted Tank to wear 8-ounce gloves while Jake wears 10-ounce gloves. That would make things more interesting and fair. But Jake's team said no. They insisted both fighters wear the same gloves because it's supposed to be an exhibition. Ford's response was clear. If Jake really wants to fight Tank Davis, then make it real with proper gloves. Alexander Usyk, the undisputed heavyweight champion, had some harsh words for Jake Paul. When Paul posted his 5-year plan that included becoming a world champion and eventually fighting Usyk, the Ukrainian champion fired back. Usyk wrote, "Good plan, Jake Paul, but I'm not here for 5th place, only 1st. Soon I'll close the book on boxing, and after that I'll be waiting for you in the cage. Let's see if you've got the balls or just a hunger for hype." Usyk doesn't see Jake as part of the serious boxing elite, and he thinks Tank will beat him easily. Now here's where Lamont Roach Jr. comes into the picture. Back in March, Tank Davis fought Roach, and the fight ended in a controversial majority draw. Everyone expected an immediate rematch. It looked inevitable. But instead of settling that score, Tank chose to fight Jake Paul. Why? Money, plain and simple. This Jake Paul fight guarantees Tank a much bigger payday than a Roach rematch would. Shakur Stevenson summed it up perfectly. He said, "As a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man, your pride will get in the way." A lot of people feel the same way. Yes, it's prize fighting and fighters should make the most money they can, but Tank left unfinished business with Roach. That draw was controversial and boxing fans wanted to see them run it back. Critics are calling this fight a circus. Some say boxing is slowly turning WWE. Paulie Malignaggi called it wacky, unpredictable, and said it shows the sport is officially gone. The fact that an actual elite fighter in his prime is doing an exhibition with a YouTuber turned boxer has people questioning where boxing is heading. The undercard features another interesting matchup. Anderson Silva, the legendary MMA fighter, is coming back to fight Chris Weidman in a 6-round heavyweight boxing match. This whole event is shaping up to be unlike anything we've seen before. Fight Week kicks off on November 11th with open workouts at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. The press conference happens on November 12th, and weigh-ins are on November 13th. All of these events will stream live on MVP's YouTube channel and Netflix Sports YouTube channel starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Fight Night is November 14th, with the main card starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time exclusively on Netflix. This fight raises so many questions. Can Tank's elite skill overcome a 65-pound disadvantage? Will the 12-ounce gloves protect both fighters or just limit Tank's power? Is Jake Paul real, or is this just another spectacle? And what does this mean for boxing's future when a champion chooses an exhibition with an influencer over defending his legacy against a real contender? We're about to find out.